Welcome to this panel to have an idea of the killing apps on the metaverse during the Web3 era. We are so grateful of having all these specialists and technicians that have been leading their space for years. And now the moment has come where all these emerging technologies that they had been working on for years, they're converging on Web3 and the metaverse. So we're going to have some insights from them. First, I want to introduce you to Carlos Moreira, who is the founder and chairman of WISeKey, a cybersecurity leading company based in Switzerland and in NASDAQ. Hi, Carlos. Can you tell us a bit what WISeKey is doing on this space regarding these issues?
Sure. Hi, guys. Nice to meet you, and all the best for the team. Yeah, so we are, as a cybersecurity company, we have been very focused on making individual people physically and virtually active on the internet. We have been doing that for many years. So we were one of the first companies in the world to protect digital identities, making sure that nobody is going to usurpate your identity, nobody's going to take your data and create a parallel reality with your identity, and nobody's going to use your products, your watches, your house, your car on the metaverse without your authorization. So that has been the main focus of WISeKey. We have billions of devices already tagged with the WISeKey identity with microchips that we put on those devices. And we have millions of people that they have been using our identity for everything. Like in Switzerland, we can vote online with an identity, or we can pay your taxes, or we can access to our bank, one identity, which is under the control of the user and not under the control of the platform. So the vision of WISeKey is that the identity is you. I mean, it's you as a human, right? Nobody should own that identity for you because that identity belongs to you. And what we are doing now is bringing that identity to the metaverse, as we believe the metaverse is a lot of hype about the metaverse. It's a lot of confusion between gaming and metaverse transaction and what meta.com is doing. So the metaverse is not yet well defined. It's going to take a time to define the metaverse because the Web 3.0 just started now. You know, I was in the Web 1.0 when that was invented here in Geneva. I was in the UN at that time, and I worked very much with Tim Berners-Lee and the team. And at that time, the vision was not at all to create what we are doing today. So the original architecture of the web was not designed to do Web 3.0 in the way people imagine that you can do Web 3.0. But what is a key app on the metaverse, and I think this is the key point here, is that the human, me as a person, I can have my avatar in the metaverse doing things for me. I don't think the metaverse, like a full immersion, is yet there, a place where you're going to physically go with your Googles and stay the entire day doing interaction. This is going to take a while to happen. But one thing that we can do now is to create an avatar, which is you, is me, in the metaverse with a digital identity related to the person. And that avatar can do things online, can meet people, can go to trade fairs, can pay my taxes, can pay my bills, can negotiate contracts. I don't need to be physically involved in that transaction. I will let my avatar do that for me. And my avatar will obviously always relate to me. You know, it's like my small virtual robot that will follow transactions on the internet. So this is happening now. WISeKey is actually working on this technology with many companies. We're organizing a very big event in Davos with the name Code to the Metaverse that is going to demonstrate this technology. And I think this technology is a huge opportunity for bringing people to the metaverse in a secure way. Maybe I can interact later. I just leave that thought for the moment to let the other speakers cover it.
Thank you, Carlos. Also want to introduce Harriet Kao, founder of Boundary Intelligence, and AriSnet, a high-tech company founded in Shanghai, focused on using distributed AI technology and providing intelligent services for blockchain, supporting credible and efficient industry collaboration. Hi, Harriet, how are you doing?
Thank you, Maria. I'm doing fine.
Can you tell us a bit of what you are doing in this space?
Yes, yeah, exactly. Yeah, so as explained like earlier, like I'm the founder of Bianjie, and it is Shanghai based. And actually we are focused on like advanced blockchain systems. And we are the core contributor to the Cosmos and ArisNet, and has been contributing to the interchain technology development since 2017. And we are building infrastructure right now. Actually, we are building the infrastructures for Web3 in both enterprise space as well as public chain space. So in the public chain space, we are proud we are currently driving the Cosmos interchain NFT spec design as well as implementation. So for someone might not know Cosmos, Cosmos might be the most innovative interoperability projects, and it has really pioneered like the idea of the interoperability. So we are currently designing the interchain NFT spec as well as driving its implementation. And in the enterprise space, we are also the builder for the China BSN, the blockchain service network, Wencang chain, and which is currently supporting almost 100 NFT and metaverse applications now. And so it's very interesting and exciting work.
Yes, it is. Thank you. And thank you for your contribution that you're doing in China. You know, it's very interesting. Robin Wu, founder of Feng Ying and co-founder of Blue Dolphin NFT, who is an experienced entrepreneur in the blockchain field. Hi, Robin, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing great. Thank you so much, Maria. I'm excited to be here today. To introduce myself a little bit, my name is Robin, and I'm an early adopter of blockchain since 2013. And I participated in the first Chinese blockchain media, and also one of the earliest Chinese digital asset exchange. In 2019, I founded a music NFT platform called Pengyin, and we believe music NFT could be the gate to the future of metaverse. And I'm also the co-founder of Blue Dolphin NFT, which is an international NFT consultancy company. And also here, you know, this event is organized by Betterwords. I'm also a partner at Betterwords as well, which is a forum promotes the vision of metaverse and Web3. And I spend most of my time in Pengyin. So Pengyin, as one of the earliest music NFT platform in China, we help early stage musicians to promote their music and make make some money to fund their career. And so far, we have helped hundreds of musicians, and our music, including classical Chinese music, pop music, and all sorts of music. And now we are working with the Music Academy of China to help China to preserve our traditional music. And we are excited that we can use music NFT to help to preserve our culture and to help the early stage musicians to better promote their music and help them to develop their music career. Thank you.
Excellent. And you know, music is good. It's a key sector that it has been in some way fostered by blockchain technology, and for sure in the metaverse. Also want to introduce and welcome Ingo Rube, who is founder of Kilt Protocol and CEO of Bot Labs GmbH, the company that originally developed Kilt Protocol. He began developing CMCS Thunder as CTO of Hubbard Boards Media and was previously director of IT projects at Axel Springer. Hi, Ingo, how are you doing?
I'm doing fine, thank you.
Can you tell us a bit what you are doing in this space to the audience so they get to know much more of your job?
Yeah, sure. We basically develop Kilt Protocol. So what is Kilt Protocol? Kilt Protocol gives you a digital identity, or represents your digital identity, but of course not only your digital identity, but also the digital identity of things, and also virtual things, like for example NFTs or pieces of music and so on, and avatars. And this is basically boring infrastructure what we do, right? So this is not shiny. This is just what everybody needs. Because when you build something like a metaverse, and you're building this, then this is, as Carlos already said, you basically have a representative in this metaverse, which is in a way you, but also in a way not you. So you somehow have to duplicate your identity, but probably you don't want to carry everything over from your identity, but just some parts. And maybe also this identity then in the metaverse grows in a way that your real world identity does not do, right? So these things are, so they are separated and living different, and to actually build all this in the metaverse, you need some kind of underlying infrastructure where this can be built on. And this is what we have been building for 4 years now, and in the context of Web3. So we are part of this Polkadot ecosystem, and the Web3 Foundation for 4 years now. And we've been building together with many interesting projects inside this ecosystem, from the gaming, from the NFT space, from the music space, from basically all the spaces. And we're trying to build this technological world together, with where all the small pieces come together. They are all their own blockchains, which is also important, because if you have just one blockchain for all, then you will notice that there's too much traffic on that, and that's gives you congestions and brings the gas prices up. So in the Polkadot world, we have the concept that every useful entity actually has its own blockchain. So the Kilt blockchain is the blockchain for digital identity, which then is being used in the metaverse, is being used for NFTs, and so on and so on. So this is basically what we are doing. And as Carlos was already shilling the next conference, yay, please meet us as well in Davos. We'll be there with the Web3 Foundation and showcasing lots of cool things around metaverse, NFTs, and whatever you want, and coffee machines, I think. So
Excellent. That is the fun of Davos, you know. It's the coffee between meetings, a part of the, you know, a part of the panels. Okay, and also I want to welcome Jason Ho, who is currently President and Chief Executive Officer of College Arts Beijing Language and Culture University since 2012. He also has led various leadership positions in TLI's Capital Media and Education business. Welcome, Jason.
Hi, my name is Jason Ho. Just say hi to everybody. And I'm from Taipei Language Institute, founded in 1956. It was one of the first Chinese language institutions, okay, in the world. And so far, we have over 400,000 alumni globally, okay, up to date. And it's just think about TLI as a military school for language training. Okay, it's highly specialized, and we train corporations, diplomats, okay, in a very efficient way. And we also do cross-cultural training for the corporate. And what we're doing now here is using AI or blockchains or different kind of metaverse-related technology and try to enhance that experiences. Because fundamentally, we believe if we can make anyone to learn Chinese language very efficiently, okay, perhaps we can make anyone to learn anything very efficiently, okay? So the belief is language is more than just a tool, okay? It's the foundation of creativity. When you are saying a word of phrases or learning a different language, you are creating something you have never done before. Or this unique experiences right now that we have that triggers whatever that I want to say, okay? It's come from something that is higher, okay? Past we're all connected. And I believe this is something that fascinates me in the world of universe, and as well as the metaverse now, the connectivity of the both. Because in the virtual world, right, before we do everything that is live out in the virtual world, but now we have the opportunity to connect the both, allow values to exchange, and we can collect more data, okay? So the idea of 因材施教, to teach according to one's aptitude, is highly likable now, okay? A more personalized experience is designed for the students and the corporates, okay? So the reason I bring this out is because I believe this is the topic today, right? The killer applications. Yeah, so yes. Thank you.
You know, well, you mentioned something that is very interesting that has to do with language, and that, you know, because also language is one of the most challenging topics for algorithms, because as you mentioned, one word can have different meanings for different countries, but even from people from the same country, depending on the emotions that they attach to the word. So it's very interesting what you are doing. Well, but now we're going to dive into the insights and the questions and I would like to start with Harriet. I would like to ask you, do you believe that there are any specific sectors that have the most potential for killer apps on which several emerge across sectors?
Yes. Actually, I believe, like Jason already mentioned, the exciting, like the potential killer apps in his introduction. And to my opinion, actually, I feel like metaverse is still in its infancy. So definitely, I'm very excited to see like so many innovations across like many different sectors, including education, retail, etc. And so far, like what I see, like most active developments is in culture and the entertainment sector. So I guess like if we are, like if I'm taking a guess, like what will be the most potential for killer apps, I probably will pick up the culture and entertainment.
Excellent. Okay. Then I would like to ask Carlos, what do you see as the greatest opportunities and also as the greatest concern of the metaverse?
So as I said before, the metaverse is in construction. It is very messy now because people are duplicating efforts in many areas and they are not necessarily focusing on others. So I think the first thing, and this conference is actually good for it, is to define the best practices. I mean, because the metaverse is so big, you know. I mean, Microsoft just acquired a game company for billions of dollars because they want to be dominant on the metaverse. Facebook wants to be dominant on the metaverse, and everybody's trying to conquer the metaverse as their platform. And I think that would be a big mistake because the Web 3.0 is a decentralized environment where blockchain technology allows a better architecture on where we can create interoperability without the need to control, to own everything, right? Because if you own everything, if meta.com becomes the metaverse, it's going to be inheriting the problems that Facebook had before, like privacy issues, like, you know, who belongs my data? How can you use my data without my consent? Those problems has already been solved in the blockchain architecture. And, you know, companies like, or companies doing NFTs, for instance, WiseKey is now involved in art NFTs. We are talking to museums. We just announced in Madrid the original letter of Colombo. Christoph Colombo, when discovered America, is $100 million piece of historical document that Christie's evaluated, and we are doing an NFT of that document. So we are making that available on the metaverse together with a virtual reality immersion that has been developed by an artist. So what we do, we take the best practices everywhere. We take the best artists, the best technology, the best content, and we bring that into platforms that they are decentralized. So I think the good thing here is to create interoperability among ourselves, find the best practices, who does what better, and then educate the market. You know, Dolphin and WiseKey, for instance, we are being meme stocks in the Nasdaq, you know, because when we announced our NFTs, our stock went 300% up, and then that created huge excitement on investors because they realized that companies were entering into the metaverse with concrete technology and without so much hype. So I think that's the big message: is interoperability, making sure that we respect identity management, consent management, that we are able to develop multi-chain environments like Ingo said before, that we are interoperable and we are universal. You know, the Web 3.0 is a unique opportunity to solve the issues that the Web 2.0 and the Web 1.0 had, which I lived then because I was Chief Security Officer of the UN when this was developed, and all the issues related to security, cyber attacks, the fact that the network itself, it was so deficient in terms of cybersecurity, is creating huge problems now. Because imagine having very sophisticated Lamborghini cars running in a very old road. You know, even if the car can go through 300 kilometers per hour, the road will not allow the car to get into full potential. So we are in that problem now. You know, the infrastructure, the internet itself, infrastructure behind all this is deficient. So I think the blockchain revolution will speed up all this process.
Thank you, Carlos. And you mentioned corporations, and it's so important because we always need to remember that with the Web3, we have now the tools to create a real cooperative economy, so where we can share the value, and that is very, very important because it makes that company needs to change their mindset on this. So now we're moving back to Robin. Robin, I would like to ask you, a majority of people have entered into the world through a gaming portal. Do you see entertainment application or business application as the greatest opportunity? Which one?
Well, I think that's a good question. It has been always a debate about entertainment and business side, which side is better. It has been a hot topic since the internet age. I think the same logic might still apply because, you know, on the business side, people need trust. But at this moment, I think the trust infrastructure in the metaverse, in the blockchain space is strong, but not enough because we don't have an identity system here in the blockchain and metaverse system at this moment. I know there are a lot of teams, they are developing their own solutions, and there are actually there are many good solutions, but up until now, there's no one has been widely used. So I think there might be a problem on the trust on how to make doing business in the metaverse being trustworthy. So I think that's the issue. So comparatively, I would think the entertainment application might be more promising. That's my opinion.
Thank you. And probably entertainment in general and arts that is also developing a lot in the metaverse since the very, very beginning.
Yes.
Now I would like to move into Ingo. What's your opinion on the potential for the immersive social sphere that Meta is exploring?
So yeah, when we talk about Meta, I think I'd like to second what Carlos said in a way. Because moving to the metaverse, actually, this is like a little bit moving into the internet, right? So I think 20 years back, and then ask a question. So what would you think what the internet would be utilized for? What would be the killer application of the internet? Who would have said a search engine? Probably no one. So we don't know what the killer applications in the metaverse are going to be, because it's now changing a little bit. And when you look at big companies trying now to run and become the spearheads of the metaverse, I think this is futile what they're doing there, because people already know that there's a Web3 coming up, and people know if it is a closed system, then it's not the metaverse. So if you're entering something which belongs to a company, then you're obviously not in the metaverse. If you're building for something where you need permission from a company to build it inside there, then you're obviously not in the metaverse. So the metaverse is going to be a free space where basically everyone can enter and where everyone can also build. And this is going to be the huge power of the metaverse. Like with the internet, it was an open system, at least in the beginning, and this was very much open, and everyone could just go there and build a service. And then some of the services will be very much recognized, and they will be the killer applications. If you have a gatekeeper in front of that, then you're killing the creativity of the community, because you just let in what you, for your business model, find useful to be in this metaverse, and this is not a metaverse. This is not going to happen. So everything that happens from the big companies, I would completely disregard and say that's not metaverses. That's it's their investment case. Let's see them fail. So that's they don't have a chance at all, in my opinion. So this just doesn't exist. Don't pay any attention to it. So anything that is really metaverse, it has to be 100% completely open, based on open standards, based on blockchain technology. Then you have a chance to actually succeed with it, because then you can utilize the power of the community out there, of the great builders out there in the world who will bring useful applications to this thing, and then it is going to be interesting. I think the biggest threat in metaverse is that it's boring. We have seen things like Second Life, which was a game community basically. This was such a hype in 2010 or something like that, or 28, I don't know. And then 2 years later, nobody spoke about that. That's because people just did not return, because it was essentially boring to go there. And if there's no new things coming up, because it is an open system and new ideas emerge in that, then it's going to be boring again. And then you are there alone and no chance at all. So it has to be an open system where everyone can make their own business model in this. And this is the killer, if you want to say there's a killer in the metaverse. The killer is the opportunity for business. So if you move to the metaverse and you create things there, that may be a service, that may be an NFT, that may be a brick where you build houses with, I don't know. Tons of possibilities out there. It may be content, educational content. It may be also cultural content. If you create things and and have the possibility to get paid by the other users there, then you have a chance. Or it can also be software and games and whatever. If you can build things there and can get paid and made a living in the real world from your work in the virtual world, then you have the killer basically. But this needs a totally open system.
Yes, somewhere or another it has to do with community, but real community, not one that is controlled by one organization, like for example, Decentraland, that, you know, it's a DAO where users can take some decisions on you know, the coming step of the DAO using their tokens. And to be honest, has been very, you know, the lands in Decentraland, because of this, the centralized model of governance has been very high demanded lately.
Yes, but you have to at least, so there's a reason why land costs something in metaverses. And the reason for that is very much computer science. It's called persistence. So if I build a house in a virtual reality, and then I come back 2 weeks later, then I probably want to find my house at the same place, which means that somebody has to pay for the storage for the 2 weeks. And so who's going to do that? And so there needs to be some kind of a model which allows people to run servers, right? So that's
exactly. Exactly. Well, now
basically do with buying land.
Yes, totally agree. Well, now I would like to move through Jason. Jason, I would like to know, you know, virtual classroom had been discussed as potential killer apps. What's your opinion on this?
Could be. Well, I think for the killer app to happen, it's not. I think this time will be a little bit different, okay? Because this time involves human behavior. Okay? I believe it's going to be very different from solving one particular issues. Because with metaverse, it's going to change how we fundamentally working with one another. Okay, because it connects the virtual and the real world, and it allows a balance to transfer. Okay, and it will generate enormous amount of data in between. Okay, so it could be, okay, it depends on how big the concept really is. A VR classrooms, right? You say, you know, like what's included in the app, right? It depends on who is doing it, and is there any plugins, right, with external resources? How open is the system is? How the DAO was written, right? Like, all depends on like the rest of the plugins, the resources. But I do believe the greater applications, okay, of metaverse eventually has to do with the greater problem in time that we are facing, because greater power comes with greater responsibility. And I believe finally we're here. Finally we're here. We are in the metaverse, right? We have everything the human desire, and our civilization has evolved to the current states. This complex conflicts all around the world now, because we want to evolve, right? And I believe like sustainability, right? It's really the key. And there are mass amount of topics waiting for us to solve. Like for instance, innovating to zero, right? Because our system of economic and political institutions are not sustainable right now. Okay, it's a lot of it is linear competitions, but we got to change it into the circular form, right? Like Tai Chi, okay? And then what's required to do that? We need to elevate entire human race civilization to the wisdom, to the extent that, you know, we're all like Buddha. So if we're all like Buddha now, you know, like no one is fighting because we're listening. And we speak based on humbleness, because no one is what we call the omniscient, right? Like, you know, everything. So in our limited lifetime, we should always learn from other people. So I believe the application should come from something that can help people to get into that state of mind, okay? And I want to bring out one example in terms of how TLI, we are doing this. We have the concepts called edutainment, education plus entertainment, because we believe, right? Like we have now the play to earn concept, right? But if we can make all the game like learning, and all the learning like gaming, okay, then a lot of problem will automatically be solved, because the learn to earn or teach to earn, those concepts are possible, okay? And this is the foundation, the fundamental building blocks for being humble, right? Because you're a student, you gotta be humble. Okay, we're all here to learning. And what to learn, okay, still, I believe anyone on this planet can be bilingual, okay, like that would help a lot. But with metaverse, the second language may not be the human language, it can be the meta-linguistic, okay? It could be anything, any metaverse word that someone created and enjoying the processes, because it's so complete. You know, it may be a utopia or you may be something else, but at least, you know, now human, we can try something that, you know, that we couldn't have done it before. Okay, in terms of minimize the risk, because we can plug in with the virtual world, connect with the real world. So the concept of enlightenment, right, like can possibly happen. Just think about someone like Buddhas and Jesus, right? If we think about this holy people, right? Like how could someone get to that certain state of mind? You have seen enough, you have been through enough, you have overcome a lot of cross-cultural issues. Okay, so all right, it's good, everything is okay, I let go. Okay, so what TLI is doing is we're trying to use language as the driving force. Okay, so we have a Chinese character NFT projects right now, and we believe Chinese character itself is an art, and it contains, okay, infinite possibility within, because it was created through the building blocks, right? Same thing for any language, but just that, you know, right now the world, there's only one kind of pictographic language that is left, which is Chinese character. Okay, so I want to focus on this and see if this will help people to learn Chinese language and more understand the civilization. So the Sino-US problem could be solved automatically, okay, if people understand more of one another. So I believe this is, you know, like you're asking the VR application, but sorry, I have to extend this a little bit further. I think a tutor solutions, an environment, a technology that can empower people to work with one another is some of the key. And we are all doing the experiment. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Jason. Then I would like to keep going on Harriet on a similar question, but regarding with business. Will business meeting move from this Zoom format into a more immersive virtual experience? What do you think?
I think definitely we'll be moving toward that direction. Actually, it is quite interesting. Like with this topic, we discussed before, like opening up this meeting. So we discussed like, should we be on like metaverse conference room, I think like definitely people are looking forward to. However, like there are still some work we need to do as technologists. For example, like we experienced connectivity, like the performance of the network, and also like the reliability of providing like the good user experience, like augmented reality, virtual reality. Today, like the experience is not so user-friendly yet. It's not so natural. So I think definitely we're moving toward that direction. However, we need to work hard to really get like those issues solved.
Yes, right. And in this context, or that we are discussing on social communities or social media, business and education in the metaverse, I would like to ask you, Carlos, you know, there's a lot of discussion around protecting privacy in the digital sphere. You already mentioned some few insights about it. Will Web3 and the metaverse provide a way to improve our security or make it more problematic? What do you think that we should do, or any project should take care about?
Yeah, actually, I like very much Jason approach, philosophical approach to the fact that maybe we have a unique opportunity in the Web 3.0 to use this amazing conversion of technology to create a better race, a very human race, a better environment where humans can be less aggressive, less predatory to each other in business and elsewhere. Because the current business model on the Web 2.0 has been monetizing the person. So we are the product, right? The reason why social media platforms and others are so rich is because they have been for 2 decades selling our data without our consent, selling our behavior, selling our predictability to where we're gonna buy, where we're gonna learn, when we're gonna get married. So that's the current business model of the platforms. And if that business model goes to the metaverse, we're gonna create even a much bigger problem, because the human aspect in the metaverse will disappear. I mean, our avatar will be more valuable that ourselves, that the person that flesh and bones. So we need to correct that. And for that, we need a different business model. So, and that's the big challenge, right? Because companies that they are very rich now, that they are multi-trillion-dollar companies, cannot afford to change their business model just like that. You know, they need a generation before they do so. And if they bring that business model to the metaverse will actually be a danger for the human civilization altogether. Why? Because in a few years' time, you're going to be logged in on the metaverse by default. So you want to wake up in the morning and you are already on the metaverse. So you're going to be logging out of the metaverse to go and having some food or having some basic physio needs. But otherwise, you're going to go back again to the metaverse, because the metaverse is giving you sensations, illusions that you don't find in your life. Maybe you're living in a one room in a very poor location in your city, but in the metaverse, you're living in a 5 buildings with a beautiful swimming pool, jacuzzis and everything. So that illusion of wealth and power that the metaverse will create will be detrimental if we detach from humanity. So the steps are, I mean, you have the big driver of the metaverse. Last year, 2.9 billion people play digital games. So that is a lot of people, right? And the digital game industry was $180 billion industry, moving to $220 billion industry. This is only the gaming industry. The gaming industry obviously see the metaverse as an extension of the game, because they say, okay, now that I am playing already in Minecraft or one of those games, I can continue to the metaverse playing in many other games. But this is, do we really want humans that they only do is playing games? So I think we need to, and I really like the Jason approach, which is new generation approach with more concrete demands than we had maybe my generation, is that this metaverse will solve 3 problems. One is human identity. Human identity needs to be protected. So nobody should be usurping my identity. So therefore the identity is not the product anymore. We are not the product. Number 2, is what has been said by Ingo, respecting your property. If I own my house and I want to have a house in the metaverse, and I need to create that relation between the digital and the physical. So there must be smart contracts and NFT technology that allows me to create a relation between the physical and the virtual. And then once you create and populate the internet, the metaverse with that identity and that asset, then you can start to do transactions without compromising who you are. You know, I am working now with the several law enforcement agencies on illicit trade on the metaverse. This is already happening. People are already selling illicit products on the metaverse. So for instance, if Chanel moves to the metaverse because they want your avatar to buy a Chanel clothing, because with that clothing, your avatar can go into a very selective party. If you're not very well dressed with Chanel avatar clothing, you will not be invited to the party. So people are going to say, hey, I want to get into that party. I'm going to fake a Chanel clothes and I'm going to buy a fake Chanel clothes on the metaverse. So all these problems that we have in the current life is going to move to the metaverse with a huge expansion. The illicit trade is a $2 trillion problem, right? Illicit trade is a $2 trillion problem that feeds all the mafias of the world, get money from the illicit trade to do all kind of issues in the society. Imagine the exponentiality on the metaverse. Humans, we are linear. Technology is exponential. So if we do not control that exponential growth, we might be in a very dangerous situation. But anyway, I am always optimist. So I think if we are, and that's what I say, international cooperations is very important because each society brings different elements to this. China culture brings amazing 5,000-year history. Swiss is very good on protecting human identity and personal data. United States is good in creating business models. So let's combine the knowledge, the combined knowledge of the Web 3.0 ecosystem, and let's create a much better world.
I agree. Working as a network, but a real one that collaborates makes totally sense. I would like to ask Robin, if you were advising young people on how best to get involved in metaverse innovation, what would you tell them?
Wow, that's a big responsibility. Okay, let me think. I have a good advice. My good advice is buy a hardware, maybe a headset. If you are in China, I think the most popular headset now is Pico. If you are not in China, I guess the most popular headset is Oculus 2. In fact, I bought 5. I bought 5 headsets for me and for my friends, and I spent 1 hour to play Oculus 2 every day in my office. So I think it's a good way you really get a feeling being involved in a virtual world, and I can tell you it's exciting and I really enjoy it. And that's only the first one. And the second, I think I have a better advice, which is own some NFT, and even put your own IP creation into NFT. If you are a musician, if you are a poet, if you are a writer, you can use NFT to protect your property, your virtual property.
Thank you for these advices. And there's very important, young people, because they were born in this new digital age, and they are the one that can teach their parents and families in general. So this technology can be massified also in terms of educational, so we can reduce the digital education gap. And I would like to ask you, Ingo, do you see the change being innovated in Web3 and the metaverse to be incremental, or transformational, and on what time scale?
Yeah, that's a very good question. I think the Web3 idea was like born like 5 years ago. So that, at least that was well, maybe 6. That was the first time I heard of it. So I think it is based on the fundamental notion that there's something wrong in the internet. That wasn't made on purpose. Okay, so in the beginning it was a very open system, but then we noticed that some of the applications just grew too big, and there's obviously a need to have some systems which are not on the protocol level in the internet now, which is, for example, identity or changing ownership of things and payment. They were just not thought, right? So the internet is basically transporting data from A to B. This is all it can do. And when you start building business on top of that, you have some more needs, like exactly that. And then the question is, should we give it all to a company, or should we actually should it be common good? Should it be there for equally for everyone? And that's the fundamental idea of the Web3, to say, let's build a little bit more power into the protocol level, which can be owned by everyone, and take this out of this business world, basically, and then have people build on the same base, because that's more practical for everyone, that is more fair for everyone. So this is the basic Web3 idea, and it is pretty old. It's like 5-6 years. And I think it took us like 5-6 years to actually build the fundamental protocols of that. That was complicated. They are now there. So you can use the Web3 stuff now, which is fantastic. And it just happened over the course of 2021, 2022. So now you can see the first applications actually on which have been built on Web3. And you see the difference. So the user can see the difference between the Web 2 and the Web 3. So the Web 2 is where you log in with your username and your password, and the Web 3 is where you log in with your wallet. That's the difference. If you log in with your wallet, you are in Web3 already, and the first things are there. That's totally cool to see. Is it the majority of the applications? No, obviously not. Is Metaverse going to help us to propel this forward? Obviously, yes. So how long will it take? I think it will take probably until the end of the decade, until you could really say everything is now Web3, because this is a transformational process, and we haven't answered some of the things yet. So there isn't, so maybe we don't have the final solution for social networks in the Web3 yet. So there's many cool approaches, but none of them has been exploding. So maybe we still have a little bit of a problem there. So there's things which haven't been solved, which have to be solved. So there's so much room for entrepreneurs, for startups, for developers to actually build things in this new world, which is amazing. And we have to and I see hundreds of companies already building in the Web3, which is great. And it will be a process where we can see this year already that lots of things are going to move into the Web3. Next year, it's going to be phenomenally more. It's going to be like a Cambrian explosion what we're going to see there. But until this whole old Web2 has actually vanished or has been transformed, I think this is going to take us a couple of years. But I think in 2 or 3 years, we will have mostly Web3 already.
Great. That sounds very exciting, because that means that we have to keep running to do our projects and make them happen. Yeah. Because everything is, is happening so fast, very interesting, and every time much more people in this space. It's great.
Actually, it was happening so slow. So, but the problem is, if you don't have the fundamental infrastructure, you can't build the application.
I agree.
And
yeah.
Have the infrastructure.
That's
so
true.
Out there, the infrastructure is now there. Start building. So that's the only thing we can say.
Exactly. Jason, you already spoke about the Killing apps in education and the importance that they can create awareness. For instance, in the metaverse, there's a project called Next Earth that it's focused on creating awareness on on climate change initiatives and projects. How do you think that metaverse could create, could be designed, or which should be the elements to create much more conscious about the topics that you develop on education, as they're doing, Next Earth with sustainability?
Okay, this is indeed a very hard one. I think I want to echo a little bit on Carlos. Okay, mentioned about bad things can happen, right? But still, we got to keep it positive. I'm a believer. Okay, I'm very optimistic because I think we get to choose which path. All of us, right? None of us is missing out on these choices. All of us can contribute, but believe, right? We got to believe it. Just it's possible. Start with yourself, with your relationship with children, okay? And then the metaverse is a competitions, okay? It's a competitions for humanity. Like who will provide a better services to humanity? Okay, leave the bad things out. Okay, hey, you're gonna do all of those things that's not good for your mental health, for physical health. Just get away from that metaverse. Okay, and I think we need to spend a lot of time in discussing how to make this metaverse, okay, political structures, economic structures, viable. I think at this point, just viability. Yeah, what works and what doesn't.
Exactly.
It's like
maybe because yes, or maybe some principles as have happened with AI. That countries and organizations are discussing principles that should be installed in algorithms, and maybe the same thing considering principles in the metaverse.
I think these are good arguments, right? And good thing to debate. But I think this debate and arguments is the rational world, right? But we are in the non-linear world. To me, okay. To me, it's like before you had to come out with hypothesis, right? And then you do experiments, testing your hypothesis, collecting data. But all of this now is happening like instantaneously.
Yeah.
Every second is repeating the processes, and we're still using the voting system. Okay, like you get to decide something like every 3 months, so every 4 years. Well, we need a more efficient way to think about these issues now. It's seriously, okay, like we need people who can really listen. Not like, hey, my gun is bigger, okay, or I have bigger wallets. I think just it needs to make sense, and it needs to make sense inside of your family, starting with that, right? Like how I hanging out with my children. I'm learning from them. I'm really learning from my children. It's like, how can I be more like you? I want to be more human. I got to go back to that state of mind. Like that's my belief, to be curious, okay, to listen and to learn. And then with this nonlinear systems, right, we can have infinite amount of experience that is happening in the metaverse and at the intersectors between the real world. Okay. And we're going to find out what works and what doesn't. I believe this will stand a stronger point than people arguing what is right or wrong. Okay, so we got to be careful with those big words coming out. Oh, I believe this is the ultimate solution. All right, we gotta be careful with that. Okay, we should be more careful. So I believe in terms of sustainability, because it's a tough problem to solve. It's highly complex. No one can solve the problem standing alone themselves. So why don't we, as a human race, let's work together? I believe that's the point I'm trying to make.
Yes, no, and also that can create awareness, because for instance, in this project, if the metaverse can show how, not investing on a sustainable project or doing projects that are highly carbon emission, the impact that they have, it can create awareness, because it has to do with the consciousness that you are talking about. And let's see if we can create a metaverse that can create community, as Ingo said, and we can collaborate, as also Carlos mentioned. And for creating this consciousness, Jason, that you have been speaking us about. And it's very, as Carlos mentioned, it's very inspiring to hear about this from someone from your generation.
I think one important points I want to add is, that's Bill Gates' job, right? Like he's raising the awareness in the entire world about innovating to zero. And I quite admire this guy, actually. And But I think one thing, right, in terms of our conversation today is how do you plug in with all these technologies, okay, and all this, whatever, wind, solar energy, okay, geothermal energies, whatever that is, or carbon capture technology, how does that has to do with our daily life, right? Like if we can feel it somehow through a metaverse gaming systems that you are contributing to the systems, like playing the game. So that's my belief. You gotta play the game to feel it. Oh, I'm having fun. I got better scores. Okay, I'll show you my cards. I'm on the top 1 tiers. Okay, not until this happened, like, we're not gonna work together. So I believe this is a key application.
Exactly, and also be aware of the externalities that we create on our personal elections, regarding all these public goods.
Yes,
So,
I agree.
Well, before ending, I would like to request you, each of you, one very brief wrap up for closing this very interesting panel. Harriet, do you want to say some few words?
Yes, I think like, what I want to say is, like as we are here, like entering the Web3, and all of us, we do have this belief. We believe in the open and fair, and we believe like, especially like we really believe like Internet of Blockchains. So I believe like any sincere exploration in building the metaverse is quite beneficial to our industry. So we also talked about the sustainability. So I think like we all need to really remember is what we already hold deeply in our heart about the Web3 should be something like which is by the people and for the people. So that is
Exactly.
like
beautiful. Carlos?
Yeah, I will just maybe to correct one point. When we say Web 3.0, this is not Web 3.0. This is not like iPhone 5, iPhone 6, or like 4G, 5G. The metaverse is something totally different. It is not an extension of the web, because the web didn't have blockchain, the web didn't have AI, the web didn't have IoT. So we are building something new, something from scratch. And this is important because if you build a Web 3.0, you are inheriting all the mistakes of the Web 1.0 and 2.0, and the money will cost to replace and reform that will be impossible. So we have a unique opportunity, and I am fully aligned with Jason, to create something disruptive for the humankind, creating a metaverse that really is inclusive. The day that the metaverse will work is when we have our human instinct being replicated. I don't know, anyone is father will know how difficult it is to let a teenager leave out of the house alone the first day, because we are always anxious about what is going to happen. It's going to get lost, somebody's going to take it. Imagine letting your avatar alone on the metaverse, and that avatar being able to do things on your behalf. Will you be anxious? Will you be relaxed and say, okay, my avatar is taking care of my transactions? I mean, the level of trust that will make us as a human to trust this avatar on the metaverse is the complexity of the technology problems we need to solve now. So we are at the beginning. The good thing is that the web was designed by a bunch of people. Maybe 100 people designed the web, maybe 5,000 people designed the web 2.0. In the metaverse, we have 6 billion minds of the world that can contribute. So we can create a much better world that is inclusive, that everybody counts, that everybody's opinions are reflected on the code, and that is a code that is open for everybody to see it and everybody to participate. So, but we cannot expand the web 2.0 to the web 3.0 or the web 4.0, 5.0, the web 13. Imagine the boring scenario that will make it. Let's make something new from the scratch, using the fact that technologies are converging. This is the first time that only happened in the Renaissance with Leonardo da Vinci, where mathematics, geography, architecture, design converge. And that created a renaissance. So we are in a new renaissance. The technologies are converging: AI, IoT, data, blockchain, NFT, all that is getting together and exponentially expanding each other. And that is going to be the foundation to the metaverse.
Yes, ideal renaissance where we can, someone redesign the principles that base our society, and with that, all the scopes. Robin, some few words?
Yes, I want to say that you know, the last time the music industry was changed by iPod, and I believe the next time the music industry will be changed by music NFT. And not only you know, people are buying NFT and trading NFT, and we think that music NFT will really put NFT into real use. It will help the musicians to you know, earn more money. It will help musicians to gain more supporters. So in that way, the whole music industry will be healthier, and hence Web3 will gain some real users, not only traders. Some people who is really going to use NFT rather than only trade NFT. And I think that's crucial for long-term Web3 development.
Thank you. Ingo?
Yeah, I'd like to keep it short so that what I think what we see here in this panel is that you see different people from different angles, not only of the world, but also different approaches like education, music, infrastructure. And you see that we're all moving in the same direction. And this is extremely valuable because when you have a lot of people from different angles moving to the same direction, then it's just going to be a success. And I think that Web3 is not only inevitable, so it is just going to happen. No one can stop this because we are all here, and it is irreversible. And this is another thing which is very, very interesting. So you will never get back from a Web3 to Web 2. So I think, so this gives me a lot of hope, like what we do here. And this was a great panel. Thank you everyone for being here, for joining the effort of doing the right thing at the right time. It's fantastic.
I agree. This community feeling and of creating a better world through the technology is amazing. Jason?
Hey, well, I'm just feel sad. I've got to say goodbye.
I
really love it. Yeah, it's crazy, and the name is just crazy. Better words. Okay, so just make sure the staff connect us on WeChat. Okay.
Yes.
Really enjoying the conversation with everybody. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I really believe life is a journey, emotions, and it's serendipitous experiences. We don't know what's coming, and our lifetime is very limited. Okay, and with metaverse, world's gonna get crazier and crazier, perhaps, right? If we go in the wrong directions, like the multiverse movies now all around the world, right? So we gotta make choices. Okay, we gotta, after enough explorations, but not infinite explorations, right? Enough, and then find out what you need, find out what we truly need, listen to our heart, okay, and go on the path. Okay, to believe is to see. Okay, to see is to believe, vice versa. I think just got something holding in mind, and then live in that kind of lifestyle. So we're gonna find in our lifetime those that we truly treasures, and we're gonna work something together towards values. Okay, thank you very much, and I really like your setup, Maria. I didn't say that.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you, you all. As Ingo mentioned, you know, it's very inspiring to listen to you all. This feeling of community, trying to push technology to make this a better world, it's amazing. And also want to thanks to our audience that stay with us and listen to our insights and our initiatives that, to be honest, when I listen to you, each of you, it's so obvious that all what you are doing moves, it's moving you're being moved by your heart, because you're doing things that you truly believe, and that is going to be also a contribution, a legacy on this amazing, you know, new era that we are all building together. Thank you, you all. A pleasure to meet you.
Very nice to meet you.
Thank you, Maria, for your moderation. Great.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Take
Bye.
care.
Bye.